I spent a lot of my childhood living in an apartment complex in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. There were a lot of kids my age. On one side there was a hospital, and on the other side there was a big vacant lot that had grown over to be this beautiful field that was full of Queen Anne sleighs and crickets and a beautiful mulberry tree. I pretty much lived in this tree, and I spent a lot of time alone in this field, but also a lot of time with the other kids playing in this field, eating mulberries, having a wonderfully wholesome time in this beautiful field with this overseer that was this nurturing mulberry tree. There was an apartment complex association that was run by a mean old man named Al, and there were many rules, but primarily that we weren't allowed to play. We couldn't play on the grass, we couldn't run on the sidewalks, we couldn't be in the parking lot, we couldn't be in the driveway. The kids weren't allowed to be anywhere, but we had this field. So one day, a lot of trucks and machinery arrive at this field, and they dig up everything, and dig up a big old basement and lay a foundation and start building a house. And the whole beautiful field is gone, but the mulberry tree is still there. So, we play on the construction site whenever it's unattended and continue to enjoy the beautiful mulberry tree. Eventually, they completed the house, and someone bought the house and moved in. So all we had left was one limb of this mulberry tree that hung over the fence over into the driveway that led into our apartment complex, that happened to be right across from the front entrance of Al's apartment. So we would gather there to pick mulberries and make noise. So Al decided that he would go to the owners of the home and let them know that their limb hanging over the fence was a danger because we children could be run over by a car coming into the apartment complex, and he needed to go up into the tree with a chainsaw and cut that limb down. So we had all heard this and were in various states of rage and mourning over the last little bit of paradise that we had left in this oppressive apartment complex surrounded by places that we weren't allowed to be. And when the day came, we all gathered to watch. Al climbed up into the tree with a chainsaw and began to cut the limb. We watched silently. He slipped, and he did sever his arm nearly completely off. It was just hanging by some little amount of tendon. He screamed like the first time you ever really heard a scream. And there was tremendous blood spray, and the chainsaw fell to the ground. Someone ran to call an ambulance, and we children started chanting, "Fat Al, Fat Al, Fat Al," while he hung there in agony and bewilderment at his nearly severed arm. So the ambulance came and they did reattach the arm. He had a long recovery. It was a very dismal place to live after that. I just thought I'd share